The ocean covers over 70% of our planet. It is the beating heart of our world, regulating our climate, providing half of the oxygen on Earth, and supporting an incredible diversity of life. But it is under threat.
Climate change is probably the biggest threat to the ocean, and climate change is having a variety of impacts to the ocean. The ocean is getting much hotter. The ocean is getting more acidic. The ocean is getting bigger, so that's sea level rise. The ocean is losing oxygen.
The Arctic is warming 4 times faster than the rest of the planet. It's an extreme threat to the world because as the Arctic ice melts, then our cooler for the entire planet also melts. The ocean has the potential to impact everything, our entire ecosystem. A few degrees can wipe out an entire species. And as we're seeing the Arctic ice melt, we're seeing that impact on species across the globe. Land and water go hand in hand, and the impact to our ocean also impacts our land.
Just like we on land are experiencing heat waves, the ocean also has marine heat waves, and they are getting stronger, they're getting longer, and they're getting more intense, and they can lead to mass die-offs of marine life. The one that's probably the widest reported on is coral reef bleaching, but it's not just coral. It's also crab, it's also fish, it's also shellfish.
The good news? The ocean itself holds powerful solutions to the threat of climate change.
The coolest thing about the ocean is even though it is really experiencing the effects of climate change, it is also a very powerful source for solutions that we all need.
There are ocean-based climate solutions to reducing greenhouse gas emissions. These are solutions that rely on the power and the health of the ocean, as well as looking at ocean industries. So we're talking about moving away from offshore oil and gas towards responsible offshore wind energy. We also see wave and tidal energy with potential in the future. We're also talking about reducing emissions from ocean-based industries like global shipping.
Every year, global shipping emits 1 billion tons of greenhouse gases, which is a major contribution to runaway climate change. So if we're going to avoid the worst impacts of climate change, we have to address these emissions from shipping. The good news about shipping pollution is we actually have the solutions and some of the technologies that we can deploy today and begin reducing emissions immediately.
We can move the shipping industry from these carbon-intensive fuels to zero-carbon fuels. We can electrify ports and associated infrastructure, moving them towards clean energy. Ocean and coasts are also a source of nature-based solutions to climate change. If we protect habitats like mangroves and seagrasses, we're protecting the carbon that they have stored for centuries.
The ocean and our climate are inextricably linked. You cannot solve climate change without ocean-based solutions. You cannot protect the ocean without solving climate change. So it's a really important piece of the puzzle to think about together.
Ocean Conservancy is a nonprofit working to protect the ocean from today's greatest challenges. We work collaboratively with scientists, policymakers, and communities around the world to develop and implement ocean-based solutions to climate change.
We are focused on those places where the ocean needs the most protection and where the ocean can contribute the most to the emissions reductions we need to avoid a climate catastrophe and to keep the ocean functioning in all the ways that we really need it to for us to survive on this planet.
We're working really closely with our indigenous nations that exist within the Arctic, both those that exist within Alaska itself and those that are our neighboring countries like Canada and Greenland, and having conversations with entities like the Inuit Circumpolar Council amplify the things that we know are important to these communities, that are important to ending climate change and reducing the amount of harm that we're seeing in our oceans and in our environment.
Offshore wind has incredible potential. In the US alone, the offshore wind that we have could power the United States 5 times over. Offshore wind is also something that needs to be done in the developed world, like in the US, and in developing countries. We can't have a shift to clean energy happen only in the global north. This is a solution that needs to benefit the entire world.
Ocean Conservancy is a leading voice calling for clean shipping, both at the U.S. domestic level and internationally. Ocean Conservancy is working at the International Maritime Organization, which is the global body that governs international shipping, to push them for high ambition, make sure they've got very strict standards for ratcheting down emissions as quickly as possible, and to also make sure that there's a just and equitable transition and that no country is left behind.
No matter who you are and no matter where you live, the ocean's important to you, and you have a stake in the future of the ocean. The ocean and climate change are inextricably linked. We cannot solve the climate crisis without ocean-based climate solutions, and we cannot have a healthy ocean that we all rely on without solving climate change. So no matter who you are, no matter where you live, you have a stake in the future of the ocean. We have the solutions that we need, and together we can have a better and more secure future for ourselves, for our ocean, and for our climate. Ocean Conservancy is the advocate for the ocean. Join us and become part of a larger global community pushing for ocean climate solutions and for a healthy future for the ocean and for us.
Join Ocean Conservancy in our work to protect the ocean and combat climate change. Visit oceanconservancy.org to learn more about how you can get involved.